Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad and the Pluto Alliance. To those who were lucky enough to mint one last night, that's right, Pluto Alliance sold out. You can still go on OpenSea and buy up the floor, meaning you can scoop some of those cheap ones. Going to be some big integration coming soon. So I bought two today. Not financial advice, but maybe want to check it out. But this is Around the Blockchain. We come to you every Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Frank's no longer here. We have BJ back. BJ, you want to pop your face up real quick for the people? We got BJ back. Who he's been in Vegas lately, doing some card game tournaments, but we got him back, and we're going to keep him here chained and locked up, at least until we go to the new building. But all right, let's go right into it. Who do we have for our guest? He wears white button-ups like Michael Saylor wears black button-ups. We got Gareth Soloway with the correct socials this time. We love having him on. He's one of the top TA guys around. But speaking of TA, we got the Fibonacci queen herself. No, that's not a Dan Brown novel. It is just CryptoWendyO. And speaking of aliens, she's got one in the background too. Is Yoda in the Pluto Alliance? I don't know. And we also have my favorite brother. It is Altcoin Daily. Is awesome. That's right. We love them here. And go to their Twitter. They just passed 500,000 followers. In the description, all the links are going to be there. 500,000. 500,000. Very, very big stuff. Congratulations, Altcoin Daily. Y'all are crushing it. And don't adjust your dial. It is J Chains in the house. He said, you could take my soul, but you'll never take my freedom. But I tell you what, I did take. He sold his KuCoin shares the same day I bought some, and we did not coordinate that. We looked at the charts and we saw different things, I guess. So we thought you were the KuCoin guy. What happened, man?
It was time to make a move. It was time to get something a little more interesting. That's for sure.
Okay. It's a boring play. I will say I got my first KuCoin share rewards. 4 rewards, all about a penny. I don't have that much, but I was expecting more than a penny, KuCoin. I was expecting more than a penny. All right, we got some great topics. We're going to talk about institutions ignoring Bitcoin for the altcoins. I guess, is Bitcoin not good enough for you anymore, institution? What gives? We also have Apple rejecting NFTs. Is this going to have bigger, broad implications for the market? We will find out. Also, Solana, it's down, but it's not out. Gets knocked down, it comes back up again, because you're never going to knock Solana out. At least that's not what the ETH or Cardano maxis say, though. They say the opposite. But let's get right into Market Watch. We're going to check out the markets here. Looks like we've had a pretty good day. I mean, we've had a couple green days. Ethereum really on a run here, up 5% on the 24-hour. 2.5. I mean, you can see on the weekly, the 24 is beating the weekly. It's been a sideways action week, but we're starting to turn things around. Binance, Cardano, finally maybe reversing course. Is $3 back on the menu? We will find out. If we look at some of the top gainers, Ren. We're not talking about Ren and Stimpy. We're talking about REN, the coin, up to $1.11, 42% on the 24-hour. Nuts right there. Phantom, I guess everyone's liking some Phantom. Sushi Swap, a lot of good ones. If we check out the losers, we don't like to call them losers. We just like to say coins that are having a bad day. Elron, eGold. Eron in the office has been bragging about his eGold lately. Now maybe it's the time to buy. I don't know. If you've been looking at eGold, it's been on the side, it's been on your radar, kind of waiting for a point to jump in. It's had a huge run up. If you look on the 7-day, it's up 50%. So maybe this could be one of your last chances to get it in cheap. But other than that, the market's had a pretty good day. I know Bitcoin going up finally. It's hitting some important levels, so we're starting to like that a lot. Wendy, I'm going to bring it to you. I always lean on you when this market watch, when I got to ask about Bitcoin. Over the last few days, what are you seeing with the Bitcoin charts that maybe has you excited or worried?
Actually, I'm going to share my screen because I think it's pretty cool. What we're seeing is it looks like Bitcoin actually, I anticipated a drop close to 43 to 40, 41, 42, but that didn't happen. We stayed bullish. And you guys, I'm looking at the 12-hour chart here. We're actually looking outstanding. We are above the the SMA, which is the middle line on the Bollinger Band 20, which is positive. So we're getting close to closing above $48,000, which is a kind of a key area. RSI is running, MACD is running. The setup looks really great. I think that I feel kind of like all of the crazy FUD going on between the SEC and the US government. I feel like it's kind of driving price up. But at the same time, we still really do need that close above 48,000 or at least, close here. But Bitcoin is actually looking really good. I'm impressed considering all the crazy things that happened this week.
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin has been ignoring the news lately. That seems to be the trend for the last few months. So yeah, it's not surprising. And you'll see that I accidentally gave Gareth a point. We'll leave it for now. And Gareth, we'll say it's because you got all the cool screens behind you. You know, if anyone like looks like a TA guy, it's definitely you. When you see like a movie, there's a TA guy. You're the TA guy. So yeah, we're just gonna say it's for all the screens, and we're impressed. I'm just impressed by your technical prowess there. So yeah,
Yeah, in all fairness, I only use a couple of those for technical analysis. The others are for other things, you know.
are those just like frozen screens? Like not even
Yeah,
actually
they're actually
like
paper. It's just I printed them out and just like.
it's cardboard paper. You know what? I thought the gloss was a little bit different on there. So we had issues with our points. If you like what the people are saying, go ahead and hit +1 in chat. We'll give them some points, and maybe I'll choose the right box. So we got some new things, so now I can give points to the people directly. We're just trying out some new things, so work with us as we get these issues taken care of. And then look at that. We took away the points for Wendy, so I'm going to add them back. All right.
Is this your first day, DZ? Are you okay?
This thing on?
I think that
you
DZ's
guys
mad
hear
because
me?
J-Chain's dumped. I think that DZ's mad because J-Chain's dumped on him the other day.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that price action fall 0.1%, and I was like, that was J-Chain selling. I knew it. I knew it.
It was a micro whale dump.
Hey, every now and then the sharks got to take a dump too. All right, well, let's get right into our first topic here. We have institutions ignoring Bitcoin for altcoins. They did a big survey with a bunch of asset managers. The total amount of the assets under management with the people they questioned, $275 billion. So we might want to listen and pay attention to what they're saying. So most of the investors, no surprise, they're mostly interested in just Bitcoin, but they're starting to increase the amount that they're allocating for altcoins. More are getting into altcoins. So over the next 12 months, 32% said they will invest in some altcoins besides Bitcoin in the next year. So we're starting to see 1/3 have been sitting on the sidelines, no altcoins, and now they're gonna get some things besides Bitcoin. Now, Altcoin Daily, I'm gonna bring it right to you. Besides Bitcoin, besides Ethereum, you're an asset manager, you get to buy an altcoin. What altcoin do you buy? You can only get one.
Out of the tens of thousands in existence.
Yeah. Now remember, you're an asset manager, so we're not trying to get some micro cap for 12x gains. You know, you got to please the 401ks and the pension fund people.
Then I would have to go in the line of what Kathy Wood says of ARK Invest. She really has that institutional mindset of the belief that the protocols at the base layer will be the ones to accrue the most value over the years, as opposed to, let's just say, the internet. There was no way for the average person to invest in the internet. It wasn't really a currency, but the dApps or the applications on top of it, they accrued the most value. The Amazons, the Googles, stuff like that. With cryptocurrency, we can invest in those base values or in those base protocols. So I think from an institutional point of view, they want to play the safest, but also have some exposure. It's going to be the dApp platforms, the Cardanos, the Solanas, the Elrons, stuff like that.
Okay, I like how you're not answering my question. You get one altcoin. You get only one, Solana or Cardano.
Well, I got to go with the community. I like Polkadot. I like Solana. Cardano seems to have the biggest grassroots community. And I do own a little bit. It's my answer.
All right. You definitely made BJ happy. So BJ, you chose the perfect day to come back, man. So good on you. Good on you.
My favorite twin.
J-Chains. Now, we have these pensions funds and these big 401ks, these big institutions. They're the ones investing with these big asset managers. Now, you got to remember, risk tolerance is something that they care about. So who do you think is more hesitant to invest in a cryptocurrency? Is it going to be the asset manager or is it going to be their clients?
Yeah, man, you could make a strong argument for both of these. So that's a great question. I mean, clearly, when you're in charge of someone's money, you're looking out for their interest, but you're also, if you're doing it on a large scale, you got to be looking out for your reputation as well. So, you don't want to be too big of a cowboy, I suppose, with someone else's money or a big group of people's money. So, I mean, I would think that the onus would probably fall more in line with the asset manager. Who's looking out for your money? That would be my thought, at least.
All right. And chat was wondering, did Frank get fired? No, we love Frank. Just because he likes the minute chart doesn't mean we don't like Frank. Frank was filling in for BJ, so that's all that was. That's all that was. Now, J-Chains, real quick. What about Litecoin? I heard Walmart might be doing something with it. Would you do some Litecoin? No, stay away from Litecoin.
I don't want to. I do, man. Like, I think it was honestly probably one of the first coins that I had in my bag. You know, I had a few Litecoin early on back in like 2017, and I haven't looked. I haven't gotten any since. It's just, you know, I don't like it. I don't deal with it. So no, I wouldn't suggest Litecoin to anyone.
All right,
that's a personal opinion. That's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, you know, hey, we love our people who have Litecoin. I think Litecoin may have been like the third or fourth coin that I ever bought years ago too. So yeah, I mean, it's great. First one, if you're wondering, XRP. But you know, I don't talk about that. That was a long time ago. I didn't know what I know now about Jed and the crew. So, but we'll leave that for another day. Gareth, let's talk about risk tolerance. You know, we just brought it up. You know, it's something that these big institutions they have to worry about it. So when your investments are creeping into the quarter billions, the billions, the tens of billions of dollars, what can you say about risk management compared to, you know, a fund like that versus a 401k?
Yeah, so I mean, as the fund gets bigger and bigger, it has to look at its investors, right? So if you have older people in there with millions, if not more money, they're going to definitely have to be careful on the risk side. I think again, if you look at a younger group of investors, they're much more apt to say, okay, go for altcoins and all these other things versus some of the older generations starting to get in. But risk tolerance, I mean, it's definitely still the Wild West. I mean, we saw last week that big drop on Bitcoin alone. There's very few people that have millions or billions of dollars that can tolerate a 20% drawdown in anything, right? So it's risk tolerance is something that, especially if you want the bigger players and the more wealthy individuals, managers and so forth, have to pay attention.
Okay, let's stay on this for a second, though. Would you say like the newer class of investors, the younger, basically, if I'm just going to cut to the chase here, are they a little more risk averse than previous generations of the same age?
I don't know if they are. I think they're equal risk, if not more risk, because you have a situation where the Federal Reserve has started to pump so much money in that the markets never go down, and then everyone's talking about, you know, crypto and the new age here, and how, you know, the dollar is going to be worthless at some point. So I think a lot of the younger generations are even more willing to take risks because they haven't experienced big drawdowns. I mean, you could say, yeah, 2017 absolutely in Bitcoin, but there's a lot of crypto investors that are even after that. They came in after that at this point.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point with cryptocurrency. A lot of them saw Bitcoin's crazy ascension to where it's at now, you know, right around almost $50,000. And maybe they heard about it when it was $10, $100. And now they're thinking like, geez, what's the next Bitcoin? So, yeah, I mean, I could see just Bitcoin specifically increasing investors' appetite for risk across on a global scale. So, yeah, no surprise there. Wendy, last question on this topic. So you're an asset manager. You just got the green light to get some altcoins. Would you go in hard right now to maybe try to catch this parabolic run? Or would this be something that you say, no, let's vest this out for 12 months and do a DCA strategy?
I would simply look at the chart and I would set limit orders like a crock pot, because I am a mom, and crock pots are great because like you can kind of set it and forget it. And with a crock pot, or with setting limit orders, you literally you can set prices all the way down. And if it hits, it hits. So you can do a portion. I would use a portion of my portfolio to allocate for that. And then I would probably pick some similar projects that Austin from Altcoin Daily recommended, because they are going to kind of be the backbone of the space, I believe. And you can DCA on that. That's what I would do for my clients. Or if they were very, very impatient, I would take that 10% of my bag and I would market buy to quench their FOMO and say, you've got skin in the game. Okay,
so give them a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So that way, you know, you keep all the parties happy. Okay, I like that strategy. And speaking of crockpot, I actually have some in the crockpot right now. I got a little pork roast. So I got a nice little prize when I get home.
Yummy.
I'm looking forward to it. I forgot about it. And now I'm salivating at the thought. All right, well, let's go to the next topic.
That's the joy of a crockpot.
It's a wonderful joy. It's like
the joy of
cooking. Go ahead.
Delayed gratification. That's a good little microcosm of hodling Bitcoin.
Yeah. And all right. So that's taking us to the edge. We're gonna edge on to the next one here. Speaking of, anyways, all right. Apple is rejecting NFTs. This is huge, or is it? I don't know. So I haven't seen. You know, I'm knee deep in the NFT. I've actually NFTs have gone up like as a whole, the market seems to be going up over the last 24, 48 hours. I was a little bit surprised, and I kind of panic listed some NFTs last night. But basically, Apple, they blocked the Ethereum wallet Gnosis, Gnosis, from the App Store over NFTs. So they had an update. Apple reached out, and they have shared all the messages. They put them online from Apple's reps. So Apple asked them, hey, is this is this going to display NFTs? They said, no, this is actually, we've been displaying NFTs since, I think, January. This is just a different update with security protocols and everything. And then they came forward and basically said, is this stored to answer NFTs? Answers yes. So they sent, quote, we notice that your app includes or accesses paid digital content, services, or functionality by means other than in-app purchases, which is not appropriate for the App Store. So, I mean, they definitely seem to have like a draconian stance on this. The points have been messed up, J-Chains and Altcoin Daily. If you're at home, I see people in chat saying, plus Altcoin Daily, plus Jay is pulling my chain. Uh-oh. But yeah, we're the points are working. So, like, we'll get it in progress. Like, we should be good tomorrow. So, speaking, let's bring it to these people. Oh, wait, no. Altcoin just teleported to 4. J-Chain's still sitting at 0. Wendy dropped back down. I'm going to drop it to you, J-Chains. Is the reason that Apple has this draconian stance that NFTs are under lock and key with the App Store, do you think they're secretly working on their own NFT/crypto wallet?
I think you answered your question. I mean, absolutely, right? I mean, anytime you're seeing a big tech company like this try to reverse the course of where things are going, probably for their own gain, and it's probably because they're working on something. You don't know for sure because nothing's been announced, but you can almost assume that's exactly what's happening.
Okay, is this a policy you think they can keep long term?
Man, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point you got to keep relevant, right? And if you want to stay on top, you got to start announcing what's hot. You got to you be with what's trending, and so it'd be in their best interest to figure it out quickly and just announce it to the world that that's what they've been working on. If that was my decision, that's how I do it.
Yeah, Steve Jobs, man, come back from he's probably
Come on,
turning
man.
in his
Come on.
what, like his turtleneck is all twisted up. That's all I'm gonna say. Altcoin Daily. Would you consider this the first domino that fell that is just going to lead to Apple getting left behind on crypto? Or you think there maybe is a secret strategy with their own wallet or something?
I would consider this disgusting. A disgusting show of big tech overreach ownership. And in a lot of ways, you could say like, hey, par for the course. Obviously, Apple would do this. But, this is exactly what we're fighting for with crypto and an open, decentralized world. I will say, this is great news if you're the wallet NFT platform Gnosis, because I know Gnosis would never get a write-up in Decrypt or be talked about on around the blockchain if they didn't find themselves in this sticky situation. So for me, this is good news if you're assuming it's all going to work out in the end. Apple, obviously, I think they're already going over some legal issues with being like the sole owner of the App Store, which, obviously have the clear monopoly where you want to buy things. Cryptocurrency is fighting that, but for now, we do have to go through that big tech. So hopefully it gets resolved, and Apple definitely cannot keep this stranglehold forever.
Yeah, speaking of that real quick, yeah, they sued Epic Games, or Epic Games sued Apple, I'm sorry, and it looks like Epic Games won, but with these big billion-dollar corporations, going to go to appeals, and state appeals, and district appeals, and federal. So, I mean, I'm sure the saga's not over, but as of now, Epic Games is winning the battle. Yeah, I mean, the judge said, yeah, this is, monopolistic. This is not a good thing. Now, Gareth, I was surprised that NFTs haven't seen a broader sell-off. On a macro sense, do you think that is something that might still be on the horizon? Or it's just crypto and NFTs are so decentralized, they don't really care about this centralized company's policy?
I mean, for me, when I look at it, right, the first thing that pops out to me, the craze over the NFTs, is that it's got to be some sort of bubble. The question is, how far along is the bubble, right? Because bubbles can last a long time. But it does concern me. I mean, it's one of those things where, if anything can be an NFT, how many, how much overload can the system take before it begins to crater, and then what's the value left? I don't know. It's definitely not my forte, but I do recognize bubbles, and this is certainly something that concerns me.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I panic listed some NFTs, and when they sold, like when I woke up to emails like, oh, this sold for 0.3 ETH, I look at the dollar amount, and I'm not feeling FOMO about it. And I'm the host of NFT Update. I'm just saying, yeah, like it's a concern of mine too. I think if it's not a concern of yours, maybe I don't know, zoom out. You know, I would just say zoom out. Now, Wendy, other companies have come forward. It's not just Gnosis. You know, other companies, wallet companies, have come forward and said, yeah, Apple's, you know, giving us a bunch of flack for NFTs and everything. What do you think Apple's long-term strategy is?
I think Apple is in bed with the SEC and with these other legalized cartels. Therefore, they are taking orders from behind the scenes. It has come to a point where the US government is just really, really stepping over that line. And they're controlling everything. It is no longer free. There's no longer really freedom here. We really can't do what we want to do. Capitalism is slowly declining because of government overreach. And I think that Apple's going to do what they're told to do, regardless of the technology. So until the United States government can kind of come out and say, hey, we're going to do this, we're not going to see any type of change. And also too, J-Chain said that, you know, maybe they're going to have their own app with NFTs and whatnot, which they probably are, but it's going to be under wraps until legally they're allowed to do so, to where they have some sort of agreement with the United States government. At this point, I'm not putting anything past these people to hinder any sort of capitalism or anything like that. Austin.
Yeah, go ahead, Austin.
Do you have some?
I loved Wendy's point. My point has nothing to do with Wendy's. I was just looking at the chat and I see we're at 1.4K likes. If in this stream we can get to 2.1K likes, major announcement from Altcoin Daily. Just put that out there if you appreciate this content.
I'm not joking. I'm hitting the like on my personal thing here, and I'll even smash on the keyboard so you can see that I am in the chat. I just typed in FD. So that was me. That's me. I'm in here. I'm reading your comments. People are like, and then I also switched to Twitch. We love our Twitch. We also stream live on Twitch. So we love our Twitch chat. For instance, Deuce in the Twitch chat, +1 Wendy, throwing it down. And when you mentioned that financial cartel, I know Ben's at home in spirit, smashing the +1 button. So they can't smash the like on Twitch. You are correct, but we love our Twitch people and we appreciate earn those points. Maybe I'm trying to talk them into going to TwitchCon. So we'll see. I don't know. I know BJ will be down, so that'd be a good thing. Okay. All right. I don't know if that was as loud as it was for me as it was for y'all. But anyway, all right, let's go to our third topic here. Solana. Down but not out. Altcoin, you know, he did reject it for Cardano, so maybe we'll have to throw him like a curve ball or a, you know, fork ball or something. At least, you know, we'll have to throw him something. But yeah, so Solana, their mainnet, we saw this was breaking right before we were going to go live yesterday. Like I was kind of waiting on the sidelines. When I first read it, I thought it was just FUD. I thought it was just like an NFT marketplace. Then I realized, like, no, you know, they did shut down the Solana mainnet, so we were waiting for everything to develop before we wanted to talk about it. I didn't want to like just pull a 180 right before we went live. But the Solana mainnet went down. It was and almost wasn't able to move transactions for almost 24 hours. And they went offline after reaching a peak of 400,000 transactions per a second. Now, that's a lot of transactions. I mean, you think every 10 seconds, 4 million, every 140 million. So you're looking at a minute is roughly like 27 million or so. That's a lot of transactions. So, I mean, it definitely, you know, it wasn't because, you know, 10,000 people refreshed a web page. This is a lot of transactions per second. The price definitely took a tumble, fell about 15% over, you know, a few hours. And this is after it already retraced from almost like, you know, above 200 all the way down to 175. After the outage went out, it dropped down to about 145. Gareth, on a TA level, would you say that this is maybe like a buy the dip, black swan type event? Or was it, you know, like already falling and, you know, maybe it's going to fall some more? Would you wait to jump in, or is this maybe like a good time to get some Solana?
Yeah, so just looking at the chart in front of me here, it definitely has some more room before I would feel confident enough to jump in. I'm looking at 98, 99, so basically a retrace to about $100. And then I think that on a technical basis, there's a high pivot going back to August that would be an interesting entry. And again, you know, I would just throw this out to the crew here, but I look at a chart like this and I see so many different cryptocurrencies doing this. Is anyone really concerned that like there's behind the scenes institutional involvement where they're trying to get in on these things cheap, and then they just somehow spread the word on the internet and cause a major run up. I mean, I look at these charts and it just can't be. It's hard for me to just rationalize how this is normal.
Yeah. So you're saying smells maybe like a little manipulation there.
Yeah, and I mean this happens in small caps. I trade more stocks, right, and I see it all the time in drop. I'm sure there was a definitive player there that had a lot of Litecoin they wanted to unload. So let's drop this news break. I mean, so I would just say, again, that's the type of thing that you have to wonder if you do need some sort of regulation, maybe certain types of regulation in the mix on. But I do think that there's a lot of smaller players that are going to get hurt on these type of things at some point.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chart right now. It's 158. It's up almost 9% on the 24-hour, but on the weekly, it is down 17%. I mean, we all knew the pullback was going to happen eventually. I know a lot of people probably got wrecked. I would definitely stay away from leverage trading. Solana, it's very, very volatile. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the 7-day chart, it almost looks like a stable coins chart for crypto. It's pretty flat. It's just like a kind of a slight tear down with you can see like the little blip of the hack, or I'm sorry, the mainnet going down yesterday. But so the network stakeholders and validators, they basically moved and they voted to do a restart. It's a big, long, drawn-out technical process. It took them a long time. Anybody who's done like crazy node validators or staking, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of with, I know BJ and his Cardano node. So it's a thing that, it might take a long time. The restart path, it was after efforts to stabilize the network, just wasn't going to work. The 400,000 per second was just too much. So they had to do a second restart patch. They release it to the validators. And then a successful reactivation occurred. It happened the early hours today, so maybe 12, 15 hours ago. So, J-Chains, how do you feel that the Solana network and the network operators and the validators, how do you feel that they handled this, what many would consider a catastrophic event?
Yeah, well, I think, on the whole, if they worked together and got the situation solved, that's one thing. But going back and resetting anything in crypto, I don't think that stands for kind of the whole idea. I mean, it's I don't know. I feel like that's a manipulation into itself in a different way, right?
Yeah, I was looking. I don't want to get too technical because like we could talk about like Solana. It could get a little crazy, but basically, so many transactions were happening at once that couldn't be processed equally on the network. So forks were happening. So
yeah,
there were forks happening.
Right. And you have to think like, what is it? I think Visa, for example, has like less than 2,000 transactions per second. So you think if they're doing 400,000 a second, like what kind of system that's new or is, hasn't been battle tested would be able to handle something like that. So, I mean, given the situation, yeah, getting it back up online within 24 hours is great, but is the way that they did it the right way to do it in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, time will tell. I mean, we'll see. Like the markets seem to not mind it is up 10%. So I mean, we'll see. Now, Altcoin Daily, I'm not to get a price prediction out of you or anything, but on a long-term scale, would you consider this a bearish event or a bullish event, given how basically the fix was implemented?
I would consider how fast they got it done generally bullish. I would consider, it was a bad day for Solana in general. They never expected this. I think this is a nice cautionary tale to remind everybody that even with the big protocols, the blue chip cryptos, tech's going to have issues. And unfortunately, a lot of tech goes in the, move fast and break things directions, and they kind of fix it on the go. So just a cautionary tale. But I had a friend ask me, is this the end for Solana? Is this bad news? And I said, the market reacted fine. I think it's okay. And they asked me, well, why do you say that? And then what would be bad news? And number one, the reason I say that is because during a bear market, we saw Ethereum Classic, 51% attacked multiple times, and they still kept a multi-million-dollar valuation. We saw, same thing happened with Verge. We saw, these cryptocurrencies that, in my opinion, are way worse than Solana. I love Solana so much more than Ethereum Classic, obviously. It's not a problem because they have a team. Yeah, they have a team and they're fixing things. And what I look for more is fundamentals. Are the dApps being built? Is that going to keep going up over time? Is the leadership still there? And then they asked me, so what would be bad news that would cause you to concern for Solana? And I would say that I'm not a tech-minded guy, so I just look for the leadership. And for example, if Sam Bankman-Fried, found a new hotness, next altcoin season. You got a new project. I could say the same thing with Cardano. If Charles Hoskinson moves on to a new project, I don't think they will. And they're part of the reasons I'm so bullish on these projects. So as long as they're behind the scenes, then Solana's going to do just fine.
Yeah, and BJ, he gave us a little factoid. It brings up a good point how 60% is owned by like VCs and hedge funds and basically big institutional players. And I kind of asked Nick this last time he was on the show, Nick DeMondi. I'm going to ask you kind of the same thing. Now, Richard Hart, let's bring him up. I see questions about Pulse Chain and Hex like every 10 seconds. So Richard Hart always says having a centralized coin to a degree can be a good thing. In this particular case, it only fell, many would say that's an insignificant amount considered what did happen. So would you say that in this case, the centralization was a good thing?
I would say, yeah. I mean, we do see some of the top 10 market cap coins heavily centralized. It doesn't seem to be a problem. The issue with decentralization and censorship resistance comes into play in the long term. Because right now we're working out, well, how Bitcoin is the most decentralized, it's the most censorship resistant. And the use case for Bitcoin is hodling. It doesn't have to move, it's a store of value, it's a digital gold, as opposed to these dApp platforms. Whoa, they need to be able to build on top of it. They need users, they need dApps. So then the trade-offs happen. Well, how decentralized do these need to be? And which one will win? Which consensus mechanism, which protocol? And we're watching the market work out in real time. So in the short term, centralization absolutely helps. You can fix the problem way faster. It's just the long term, as crypto gets more mainstream and we face these regulatory challenges, that's where decentralization really wins.
Yeah, I mean, and for that reason, you gotta love the market. Market doesn't care what you think, doesn't care what I think. It just market is what the market's gonna do. I had to read this chat from Radio Face and the YouTube. Jay Chains looks like he's headed to the club to hit on some moms after the stream.
He does.
Mom to be. He's gonna go hit on a mom to be. Jay Chains is about 3 weeks away. You got a little one coming, right?
Yeah. My daughter's gonna be born on October 6th. Very excited.
All right. So yeah, you know what? You get a point just for that. All right. So Wendy, I see you tweet about Solana. That's why I'm gonna bring this one to you. I've used Solana to buy an NFT exactly once. I've tried multiple times, but these things are selling out in sometimes literally 2 to 3 seconds. So I've actually used Solana. It's the only time I've used Solana. I've moved it around multiple wallets. I had a Solid, now I got a Phantom wallet. I pulled it from different exchanges. I've staked it on, Kraken, I believe. So, but when it comes to actually buying things and playing, in like a nice DeFi play, not just staking on Kraken. Do you know anyone, or have you yourself ever actually used Solana?
I've used it inside the Phantom wallet, and then I do my staking on centralized exchanges because I feel most comfortable there. The cool thing about Phantom, though, is that you get to earn that 8% interest, or you get to pick which platform you want to go ahead and earn that from. But I haven't dove down that rabbit hole too terribly much because there's a whole different ecosystem. But what's cool about it is I was actually able to get this token. It was called Cope. And they did this big airdrop for it. And when you own Cope, you were able to get airdrops from all of these other cryptocurrencies on Solana. And it was pretty easy to set up to my the Phantom wallet to my Solana wallet. And it was just a really good experience. It was actually a way better experience for me than MetaMask because MetaMask is like expensive and you have to approve this and do this. And sometimes transactions that you think are only going to cost $30 end up costing like $80 or $100. And it just stinks. Like today I sent a $100 transaction on Ethereum and it paid $40 or $36, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But I do have to bring this up. When we're talking about like the whole crash with Solana, it crashed at 400,000 transactions per second. Visa currently does 25,000 transactions per second. Bitcoin does like 7. I think XRP is the highest cryptocurrency with 1,500 transactions per second. So when we're thinking about like the issues that it had during its mainnet beta, because it's still in beta pretty much, that's pretty impressive to handle 400,000 transactions and then crash.
Yeah, I agree. It's like saying, yeah, I this runner hurt his leg after setting a record-breaking mile run or something, like, oh, he's washed up. Well, he just ran a record, So, yeah, I mean, 400,000 transactions per second is totally nuts. But I'm going to end it with the question. I'm going to ask everybody the same question here. You might even know where I'm going to head with this. It's that's right. We're going to talk about Ethereum here versus Cardano versus Solana and all the ecosystems. after, you know, seeing the recovery, after seeing, you know, the facts that 400,000 transactions per second were taking, you know, were going online at the time at the crash, is Solana going to be the Ethereum killer? Wendy, going to you first.
I don't know yet. It's too early to tell. I would really need to see them get to their mainnet live first. I like to and then like there's just a lot of stuff going on. We have to wait and see if it works and how it's working then, and then I can decide. I don't like to jump the gun here and make assumptions. That's why I stay diversified. Cardano, Polkadot, Solana, etc.
All right, so the 8 ball says ask again later. All right, Gareth, is Solana going to be the Ethereum killer?
I honestly don't know. The one thing I will say, though, and again, you guys probably can answer this more, but if there's always a coin coming behind that could be the killer of another coin, institutional adoption is going to be very tricky to convince big money to really get behind coins. So I hope that eventually we see a coin or 2 or 3 or 10 that really stand out and they stand, you know, they last the test of time.
Yeah. All right. So time will tell. All right. A wait and see approach. J-Chains. It's not KuCoin shares anymore. What is going to be the Ethereum killer?
You know, I like BJ put a note up there, and that was pretty much going to be my answer, is that Ethereum is going to be the Ethereum killer. It's going to kill itself, man. If it's not Solana that comes up, some other chain will find something that kills Ethereum because it's just not doing it for itself. We'll see what happens with the rest of this year, but I don't have as much faith in Ethereum as I did once before. I'll tell you that.
All right, and Altcoin, we're going to end with you. Is ETH the ETH killer? Is Solana the ETH killer? What's the ETH killer?
I believe in a multi-chain future. There'll be a handful. So I think Solana is definitely the ETH interoperator, and ETH2 could be the ETH killer as much as Solana could be the ETH killer. But in general, I think there'll be a handful. All
right. And could you go to the 6 shot and bring yourself up, BJ? I did kind of, you know, subconsciously, I saw his tweet. He tweeted out, ETH is the ETH killer. It's the only part that's deterministic. You got to be careful with people who say words like deterministic. They're playing a little word salad with you. So I'm watching you, BJ. I'm watching you. We all saw right through the Cardano. I was reading between the lines. It was a Cardano tweet.
I don't like Cardano that much.
That is all we got time for today. Our points got messed up. So tell you what, we're just going to roll with Altcoin Daily was the winner. Definitely because it was awesome that Aaron. And Altcoin, we're going to go ahead, give you 30 seconds, give us some parting thoughts. And again, congrats on the 500,000 on Twitter. Make sure you go check them out.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you. And a big shout out to everybody else on the panel today. Gareth, J-Chains, Wendy. I love that the points got messed up so I could win. Thank you to the audience for hitting the like button. The big announcements are, number 1, Altcoin Daily within the next 15 days on YouTube is going to pass 1 million subscribers. Assuming it happens in the day, we're going to do a live stream. Subscribe, join us on our journey past 1 million. And number 2, if you're in the Pasadena area today in Los Angeles, we have a film in the Pasadena International Film Festival, 8 p.m., Lumley Theater, Pasadena.
I cannot wait to hear more about that movie. I'm definitely going to check that one out. So, and again, BitSquad, thank you for the love with the Pluto Alliance. Just give OpenSea some time. We're still populating some traits, some features, and the API is still updating at the moment. So give us some time. Pluto is a planet. BitSquad, that is all we got time for today. Easy out.